It's Sunday, June 1, 2025. Good afternoon. You're welcome to Weekend Central live here on TV3. The bulletin is also live on DSTV channel 279. We're streaming across the world on Facebook at TV3 Ghana, where you can join us with your thoughts and your comments as well. I am Godwin Asidiba.
And I am Judith Brown, coming up with the bulletin this afternoon. Coming up this afternoon, former Minister of Finance Kenopata expected to appear before office of the Special Prosecutor OSP on Monday, June 2nd, 2023.
Also coming up, Ghana Statistical Service GSS survey reveals widespread citizen exclusion and bribery amid Ghana's push for governance reforms.
And later in the bulletin, Ghana lost 28.5 billion cubic feet of gas worth $170 million to gas flaring in 2024. We have details of these and many more stories coming up in the next hour. Do stick and stay.
We begin the program from here. Former Minister of Finance Kenopata is expected to appear before the office of the Special Prosecutor on Monday, June 2, 2025. This is in connection with an ongoing investigation into multiple financial dealings during his tenure. The Office of the Special Prosecutor directed the former Finance Minister Kenopata to present himself in person at its headquarters on Monday, June 2, 2025, warning that failure to do so will carry serious consequences. In a statement, the OSP cautioned that should he fail to honor the summons, he will be reinstated on its list of wanted persons and officially declared a fugitive from justice. Office of the Special Prosecutor further warned it would begin processes to issue an Interpol red notice, potentially subjecting the former minister to international arrest and extradition. The Office of the Special Prosecutor is investigating the former Minister of Finance Kenopata over 5 major issues during his time in office under President Akufo-Addo. The issues under investigation include petroleum and minerals revenue assurance, contractual agreements between Strategic Mobilization, Ghana Limited and the Ghana Revenue Authority, termination of a contract between the Electricity Company of Ghana and Beijing Zhaozheng Technology, the procurement procedures and financial transactions related in the National Cathedral as well. The others are the Ministry of Health contract with Service Ghana Auto Group Limited for purchasing and maintaining 307 ambulances and the handling and disbursement of funds from the Tax P Fund account of the GRA. A key finding from the first wave of the governance series by the Ghana Statistical Service has revealed that more than 70% of Ghanaians feel excluded from the political decision-making process, believing there is little or no opportunity for ordinary citizens to influence governance. Only 12% said the system provides sufficient space for citizen participation. The findings also revealed that corruption remains a major concern, with 55.7% of people reporting contracts with public officials in 2024. Of those, nearly 1 in 6, which is 18.4%, admitted to offering gifts or bribes, mostly money, to access services. We proceed further to have a conversation on the back of this. Professor Enoch OpokuEni is a governance expert. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Prof, what do the survey findings say about the current state of citizen participation in Ghana's democratic processes?
Thank you very much, and greetings to our viewers everywhere in the world. I think it is very worrying to see such a situation because the Ghana Statistical Services is very credible. And if you look at the report conducted between January 2nd and the 20th, they sampled 7,200 respondents. And out of these, the clarion call is very clear that we need urgent, inclusive policymaking of experts in the field of each discipline, no matter the background, and a very robust individual, group, and then institutional accountability that we are all looking for. But we need a reform, and the reform should be how we think, how we act, and how we decide on inclusiveness, accountability frameworks, and then punishment for corruption.
Right. So what immediate reforms will be recommended?
We need to look at the way we act when somebody commits an offense. So look at Wuntumi's case, look at Kenopata's case, and look at how political architects will react to this. Is that how you fight corruption? That if somebody is a suspect, and we have institutions that are working, and institutions invite these individuals to come and talk about fraud, money laundering, international crimes, and then you have a whole parliament not giving police any, notice based on the Public Act, walking straight to Yoko, sitting on the floor, and then asking that the man be released. Because for them, it is more political than a crime. So our approach to corruption will not take us to our destination, the end goal that we are looking for. But I think that when we have this policy coming from the government, where there's an institutional framework that individuals appointed by the president are supposed to sign, these are the ways that we can fight corruption.
Absolutely. But Prof, how can the government bridge the trust gap between citizens and public officials, especially when over 70% feel excluded from decision making?
I think that the problem has been the winner takes all, where everybody who wins. So if MPP wins, they come and they fire everybody from NDC. Some will not be even allowed to go to their offices. Some are given just 2 days to go. And it's been done to NDC people when MPP came to power. And ultimately, when Professor Mills decided that some should stay for 6 months, some people were not happy about that. But at least we can get handing over notes, we can get institutional knowledge, we can add face to what is happening there before those individuals go. But if you look at the way decisions are made, it's all based on political lines. And I think that is a worrying situation for all of us. Because if you look at the same report, voter eligibility awareness is very high now nationwide. It means that we cannot take these voters for granted. They know what is going on. They have discerning minds. And because of that, we should bring them into open door policies. I like the way the president made this situation that is going to be a portal that anybody who misconduct themselves or ask for bribe from you, report them. If citizens make use of that, it's going to help us a lot. And I also think that there should be that kind of public fora. We should have town hall meetings and then ask the people what they need the government to do for them. Because yesterday I went to a wedding at Cape Coast, Pedu, and when I was returning, I saw the terrible roads there. Right from, Kasua to Winnipeg. Look at how terrible the road is. And how can't you get individuals, motorists, a different route before you finish this road?
Yeah. So
there are a lot of things happening in our communities that governments seem not to care about. And I think that the worrying situation that we are paying more attention to individuals. But for Riate's case, you see what will happen. People will rush there. You've seen what happened to Wuntumi's case. And intellectuals go to radio and TV stations just to go and, talk about individuals. When we have national policies, we have national issues like roads, hospitals, schools, agriculture, policies that we need that to help all of us. So I think that the media should also come into that. We should redirect our focus from sensationalism of individual issues and then focus more on development issues, which hinges on common good for all of us.
Absolutely. Prof, but with Ghana preparing for its third SDG voluntary national review, how can this data meaningfully inform progress reporting and influence national development strategies?
So what we are looking for is peace, justice, and strong institutions. And I think that the problem statement of this research by the Statistical Service was about inclusiveness, responsiveness, and corruption. if we are able to include everybody in decision making, it doesn't matter your political background, and then let people be responsible for their own actions, which is locus of control, and then tackle corruption from all angles, from institutional to the groups to individual, I think that the CDG that we are all looking for, which is promoting of peace, justice, and then strong institutions, will work. Because without being responsive, without being inclusive and celebrating different cultures and different ideas, and without fixing corruption, peace, justice, and then institutional strength will not be achieved.
Right. Thank you so much for your time. Professor Enoch OpokuEni is a governance expert.
Well, another story is as part of fulfilling its manifesto promise, the government this week announced that private senior high schools will be included in the government's free senior high school SHS program. Well, integration will assist in phasing out the controversial double-track system currently in use. The move is also education and easing congestion in senior high schools. Well, Obenfo Nana Kwesi Jetwa is Executive Director of the Ghana National Council of Private Schools, NACOPS, and he's joining me right now in studio. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Thanks so much for coming all the way here. But your members have been calling for this for quite a while now. How ready are they for this?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to all the viewers this afternoon. Right. Private schools over the years, since the introduction of the free senior high school policy, have been calling for such an inclusion. And we have to take this opportunity to appreciate the fulfillment of the promise that the President, John Dramani Mahama, gave during his campaign tour. Right. And we are very, very ready for that because we have infrastructures, we have all the educational materials that are ready to support, expand the assets of quality education in Ghana.
Right, now you say you're ready, but what do you need from government? What do you require as members from government to make sure that you as a group maintains quality standards of education?
You know, the free SHS policy is coming in to eliminate the burden of parents who are not able to pay for educational delivery. And we, the private schools, are coming in on board as providers that will be able to absorb such students, and government coming in to shoulder and pay for such kind of services that we are giving it to the students. And in that call, we need to also emphasize that at this point in time, the government is giving the private schools day students. Right. And so the cost of running a school as a day is going to be taken care by the government. And already there's a budget allocation that the government has already given to allocated to the free SHS policy. So it's within that budget that the government is going to take care of the administrative costs. The being able to take care of a student in a school within a day or within a term is going to be taken care by the government. So it's going to be like a voucher system where when your ward is in the private school, hitherto you have to pay. By this time around, government is going to take care of that for the parent.
Now you know that you have the aim of phasing out that double-track system whilst easing congestion. How does your members, your group, intend to collaborate with government such that you're able to ensure a smooth transition and equitable placement of these students in both private and public institutions?
So we have an MOU that we have given to the government. Government has actually perused the MOU, and an offer has been given, which we have also accepted the offer. And in it is that the private schools within this academic year, which we are going to start the 2025-2026 academic year, some harmful private senior high school will be piloted. And when they are piloted, they are going to ensure that when the students are selecting their first choice, second choice, third choice, they will then be those schools will be selected. And then the computerized selection placement will place them in those schools. At the same time, there's that kind of mechanism to ensure that supervision and monitoring of whatever such a private school is doing is in alignment with the policy framework that governs the free senior high school policy. So there's a clear roadmap that we have actually agreed upon, and there are no hitches around it. And the beautiful concept is that the government has given their bid of the offer. We, the Private Schools Council, have also accepted the offer, so we don't have any qualm of issues at all.
Now, we know that funding will now be coming from government.
Sure.
How do you, as private institutions, intend to balance it out, knowing the flexibility that comes with these government schools and the payments as well?
And that is why it's very important to collaborate with a government, with a private or private partnership arrangement is crucial at this point in time.
Right.
You know, we, the private schools, we are business-oriented organization, and because of that, innovation is part of us. So we have our bankers, we have other source of income that we can use to shoulder the government, and appropriately we raise invoice for government to pay. So it's not a difficulty issue. Once the government gives us that kind of instrument to show that by the end of the day there's going to be a payment, we can rely on our banks to come in to support us, do the needful, and then when the instrument mature, we can go for our claims.
Right. Many thanks for your
time
and for joining us. Obenfo Nana Kwesi Jetwa. He is the Executive Director for the Ghana National Council of Private Schools, NACOPS. He has been speaking to us on the latest development where government is deciding to include private institutions in the free SHS policy that started some years ago. Godwin.
The Hooked on Red documentary is getting some results. The Health Committee of Parliament has expressed worry over the use of red opioid by the youth. Vice Chairman of the committee, Dr. Sebastian Sandare, in an interview says the committee has taken steps to help ensure the menace is brought under control.
Forever once, never given me to believe in second chance.
The use of red among the youth has reached an alarming rate. Some believe the use of the drug helps them work long hours or engage in hazardous tasks.
Yes, a drubi, a conumbi na jaya timidi akwa juma koye akobo hard. Am koso bishwe ya ne. Say minimi se o de kan wanu an di jaya no inye easy.
Drug no amama ne me yire ntematiti over years ache kura. Ye ko ba ya ni se afi ade na me de me ho be hye mo no. Afi amama nya sika ahwe wo.
But Vice Chairman of the Health Committee, Dr. Sebastian Sandare, says more education on the dangers of the drug is urgently needed.
We have to intensify public awareness, the need for health education on the use of these drugs, because we see the side effects or the harm that is causing on our youth, because they start small, get addicted, and it's not difficult, to stop. So it's for all of us, the churches, the mosque, assemblies. I mean, everybody must be involved, parents must be involved, so that we educate our youth on the dangers of the use of red. One way is to reduce the availability of the drug.
He said the committee has already taken steps to address the issue.
The use of red by our youth in this country is public health crisis. So the health committee has taken it as a very important measure that we have to act on. One of our members made a statement on the floor with regards to that, calling on the need for our regulatory bodies, i.e. the Food and Drug Authority and other bodies, to really act to ensure that we reduce this burden in the society. That led to the Minister for Health, who came to the House to make a strong statement, on that.
The MP for Dafiama Buse Issa said that as part of the committee's agenda, they plan to visit the Food and Drugs Authority and other regulatory bodies to ensure compliance with the law. Opioids and red are classified as prescription-only medicines and should not be sold over the counter or in pharmacies without a doctor's prescription. However, some pharmacies flout the law, with individuals also engaging in the illegal sale of these drugs. The Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana is calling for more public education to ensure the youth understand the dangers of opioid abuse. The society has also commended the efforts of stakeholders in confiscating illegal drugs.
We're going to stay on health issues now. For over 20 years, the Tafo Government Hospital Maternity Block Project has been only left to faith. Overcrowding a strain on the hospital's limited resources, a common spectacle. A major challenge to the attainment of quality maternal delivery has also been happening right there in that hospital. Well, guess what? TV3 has consistently run several reports on the state of the stalled project for years, and William Evans Inkum has joined us on Zoom. William, I hope there's a change in that narrative.
Well, sorry, no. Since 2002, there hasn't been a change of narrative, but just reduced to, political rhetoric and promises. But then, if you go to Tafo Government Hospital, you still see that level of overcrowding, and sometimes cases which are serious have to be referred to Kopanochi Teaching Hospital. Very difficult. But I have been engaging the Member of Parliament for Tafo constituency, just wanting to know what is the level of commitment as far as ensuring the completion of this particular project is concerned. And this was his reaction.
Right.
2021-2022, I called the Minister of Health on the floor of Parliament. I called him to come to Parliament, to come and answer to questions. That's why this maternity block is still there. It is difficult, but I keep on doing my bit. The little things that my personal capacity will be able to hold, I am trying my best. So today, I donated about 150,000 Ghana cedis to the Tafo Government Hospital, which is supposed to cushion them in health delivery here in Otafo. Well, I was not born here, but where I was born is just about 100 meters away. We call Abotanso Clinic. But almost every day, we have people also coming to the labor ward. The difficulties that they go through, it's an eyesore.
Well, William, you have to stay with us a bit longer because we have been hearing that the Obuasi East District Girl Child Coordinator, she has been given some interesting revelations about sexually transmitted infections among girls in the district. Tell us more about that.
Well, so he's been reacting to the fact that poverty is making it almost, difficult for young girls who are coming from abject poverty-stricken homes to be able to even afford a pad. And he was thankful to the president that now these girls are going to enjoy free pad. But even before this particular initiative, what was the situation like? And the worrying aspect has to do with the fact that these girls, because they are unable to buy it themselves, or maybe parents are unable to afford it, they find themselves at the mercy of some unscrupulous people who end up, infecting them with some level of disease. So he's been talking about STIs, he also been talking about surge in pregnancy. But let's listen to Gifty Sapone Champon, how she put it.
Though we've been celebrating International Menstrual Hygiene for years, that thing exists. Some doesn't have access to sanitary pad. So when they come to school and they menstruate, they have to go back and change. Sometimes they go and it does not come back. That's why Obuasi is municipal. We saw that we needed to have create something that will curb that problem. So we've created pad bank, and we give to the schools, and they store there. When the girls are in need, they give to them. So now going to the house to change and come back is reducing in my area. We've started it, we have some, but we need, because when we open a bank, we deposit money. So we need to deposit more sanitary pad in the bank to sustain it. That is what we were agitating as girl child officers. That brought about President John Dramani Maham's free sanitary pad to the girls. It's been a worry because some years back there were a lot of teenage pregnancies. So we just sat down and did some studies. We saw that most of the causes are due to lack of sanitary pads.
And you heard that was the Obuasi East District Girl Child Coordinator giving us some details on sexually transmitted diseases in the area. William Evans Inkum, many thanks for your time joining us on this particular subject. He is from the Ashanti region and Northern Bureau Chief. Godwin.
Ghana lost a staggering 28.5 billion cubic feet of natural gas last year, worth an estimated $170 million due to flaring. This alarming figure comes from the latest report by the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, raising concerns over wasted resources and environmental harm.
Billy, 10 and Sankofa fields fled 28.5 billion cubic feet, a sharp rise from previous years. Gas flaring happens when excess fuel can be processed, releasing toxic emission and squandering a resource that could ease Ghana's chronic power shortages.
Gas flaring is a big issue. In fact, under our petroleum policy, or is it gas policy, it's supposed to be a zero flaring. We have a zero flaring policy. So technically, no company is allowed or permitted by the EPA to flare any gas. But the reality is that once they produce the petroleum, it comes with its associated gas. Some of the gas is re-injected into the wells to show up, the production of the oil. Some are used on the FPSO to power, the processing of the oil and all that. And then the remainder is what is flared. And it's simply flared because the Atuabo gas facility doesn't have enough capacity to process all the gas that we get from the field. So the solution is to get a second gas processing plant that will utilize the gas, the excess gas that we produce from the fields.
It should be possible for us to reinvest some of these monies, create the technology that will enable us to store. The flaring is not something, it's a luxury that we in this part of the world cannot afford.
Now, the government plans a second gas plant to capture excess fuel. PIAC urges fast-tracking the project.
It should be part of government's priority projects. If government can begin the construction as quickly as possible, I believe it will help us so that in the next 2-3 years, it should be ready.
With energy demand rising, the clock is ticking to turn wasted gas into power. PIAC warns that without urgent action, Ghana will keep burning money and clean air.
Well, we're going for our very first break. That was an interesting story by Ibrahim Abubakar. My name is Judith Brown. I've been doing this with
Godwin Asideba. We will be right back.
Welcome back. You're still watching Weekend Central. In other news now, President Mahama has revealed plans to officially launch the Ghana Labour Export Program. Now, this program is part of Ghana's efforts to create job opportunities for the country's youth through international employment partnerships. Speaking in the Ahafo region on Saturday, May 31, during his thank you tour, President Mahama said government is currently in discussions with multiple countries facing labour shortages to enable Ghanaian professionals to work abroad on fixed-term contracts.
We'll soon launch a Ghana Labour Export Program. There are labour shortages in many countries across the world. We are negotiating with several of those countries to export some of our professionals to work on fixed-term contracts abroad. This will include agricultural workers, construction workers, electricians, welders, mechanics, health workers, chefs and caterers, drivers, machine operators, warehouse supervisors, among others. A contract has already been signed with one country for the export of 2,000 temporary workers. Young qualified people will be selected fairly from all the 16 regions of our country, including Ahafo.
How far can you survive on 19 cities, 97 pesos a day as a minimum wage in today's Ghana? With rising costs across the board, it is enough to meet the basic needs of workers. Beatrice Sowa has been finding and speaking to a food vendor and expert who have come together to speak on this issue, and she came through with the following report.
When you come and do the pepper for me.
Susie is a food vendor and a mother of one. She struggles to meet her family's needs while striving to move beyond minimum wage. With unwavering dedication, Susie supports her husband, pouring her heart and soul into her food business. She recalls working for a company only to see her salary swallowed up by transportation costs, leaving her with nothing to save or support her family.
I used to work for somebody, but going, coming, transportation and things. Before you pick her to the work site and come back, at the end of the month, you don't see anything. I realized it would be good if I started my own business.
Ghana's minimum wage currently stands at 599.10 pesos per month, or 19 cedis, 97 pesos per day. But the question remains, is it enough to cover the cost of living in the country? Financial advisor and CEO of Dalex Finance, Joe Jackson, believes that many Ghanaians are living in extreme poverty.
If you talk about the cost of living, that minimum wage has not even started to address the issues, 50% of the issues of cost of living. So we're already in trouble. And we should realize that the minimum wage as set in January this year was about $1.30. Now, the interesting thing for all of us is that the World Bank says that if you earn less than $2.15, you are living in extreme poverty.
Labour expert Austin Gami expressed concern about the minimum wage, stating that people are not earning what they should based on the economy and cost of living.
The minimum wage in Ghana can only become well paid and sustained. That's a key word. And sustained, not defaulted on payment. When we expand the economy, we all pay our taxes. We all ensure that we are responsible. We all ensure that corruption is not minimized, killed, and therefore we as a nation can have the money that should have gone to some individuals or some group of individuals all gone into the same national kitty. The key to this all is about ensuring that we rather pay people very well based on productivity.
On the streets of Accra, we spoke to some Ghanaians about whether the minimum wage is enough to meet their needs.
The minimum wage is nothing to write home about. It's actually a penny. I mean, it's money, but it can't do anything. If I want anything aside my salary, I have to go for quick loan.
It will never be sufficient for me. It's not enough. And I think it's not fair to the Ghanaian to be receiving this meager salary or meager amount as a minimum wage. The minimum wage at least should be 1,500 Ghana cedis.
I don't even have any savings in my account for now because within the month you have to borrow another money to even support what you have.
There has to be an adjustment upward. It's not enough. You cannot have surplus for savings. There has to be alternative ways of making money apart from, one salary.
It's woefully inadequate. It cannot cater for, let's say, a family of 6 for, let's say, a week. Government workers, most of them are on loans. Look at nurses, they are all running away. Why? They cannot pay their rent. Me, if I get visa now, I'll go.
Finance expert Joe Jackson advises low-income earners to develop a habit of saving to break the cycle of poverty.
Savings is a habit. It has nothing to do with how much you earn. If you can't save when you earn 200 cedis a month, you won't save when you earn 2,000. And you definitely won't save when you earn 20,000. From a practical standpoint, however difficult your life is, even if it is just 1 cedi, save something. Because if you don't save, you have no pathway to wealth. You are doomed to stay poverty-stricken most of your life. The issue is, can you afford not to save?
Back at Susie's place, she says she made the bold decision to leave her job and start her own food business. Despite the daily challenges she faces, she perseveres.
With this, I've been able to support my husband to do so many things. Even though there are challenges, at times it doesn't go well, but when you sit down, you think, you re-strategize, and then you start all over again. So I would say it's been helpful.
With the recent appreciation of the cedi against major trading currencies, many hope that the cost of living will decrease, alongside expectations for a much improved minimum wage in the future.
Now, there's a growing public safety crisis unfolding in Kumasi as non-functioning traffic lights at major intersections continue to endanger lives and worsen traffic congestion. Traffic signals at some high-risk intersections within the metropolis have remained dead for months, some for over a year, despite repeated accidents. Ibrahim Abubakar reports on the alarming situation, which has left pedestrians and motorists fearing for their safety, as calls mount for authorities to act before more lives are lost.
Persistent traffic light failures in Greater Kumasi are fueling a surge in pedestrian knockdowns and motor accidents. Key trouble spots include Gao Junction, Afunkwanta, and Loga Square Highway, and the Tech Police Station intersection, where non-functioning signals have led to near-daily collision. Drivers navigate these stretches with caution, while pedestrians risk their lives crossing. At Gao Junction, a hotspot for vehicular movement, the traffic light has been a white elephant for over a year, with multiple accidents already linked to the signal failure.
Just about 3 months ago, there's some accidents, serious accident happened in this place. So we want all the leaders around here to tell us about this traffic. What does it do?
The number of accidents and associated fatalities that occur on this stretch is quite alarming, all because of the non-functioning of this traffic light. But nothing is being done to fix it.
They say traffic in here to U-turn. Due
to the malfunctional traffic lights, some reckless motorists are taking illegal U-turn, leading to dangerous accidents.
This traffic light on the Anloga Junction and Square Highway mirrors a disaster in waiting. Pedestrian knockdown is very common here.
The traffic light situation is very worrying, especially when school children are crossing. Just 4 months ago, a co-tenant of mine tragically lost her life when crossing this road. She was hit by a speeding motorcycle and died on the spot.
A near-fatal crash at the Tech Police Station intersection left the traffic light smashed on the ground. 2 weeks later, the broken signal still lies in ruins.
it has been a challenge for us for some time now. But the police had been doing quite well because at least they have been controlling the movement. And so that is what we would take for now.
With accidents mounting, citizens are hoping to see the repair of this important road infrastructure before more lives are lost. Some road safety stakeholders are already urging government to modernize traffic control systems and implement solar-powered lights to reduce dependence on the national grid. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.
And that report takes us on a second break. We'll be back with more news. Do stay with us.
Country's dedication to accelerating the transition to clean cooking and fostering energy partnerships with neighboring countries. Policy advisor to the Vice President, Dr. Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, read a speech on her behalf at the Africa Energy Technology Conference 2025 in Accra.
Access to safe and sustainable energy remains one of the most pressing needs for millions of Ghanaians, especially when it comes to clean cooking solutions in homes. In a recent public address, Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Eni reaffirmed government's commitment to advancing clean cooking technologies and strengthening regional energy partnerships.
Your Excellency acknowledges that sustainable energy must begin in our homes, especially in our kitchens, and the government of Ghana remains firmly committed to advancing the clean cooking agenda in alignment with our climate goals and the Paris Agreement.
The message also emphasized regional collaboration, recognizing that sustainable energy supply must go beyond national borders.
That is why Her Excellency, the Vice President, continues to champion regional energy cooperation through frameworks such as the West Africa Power Pool and the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Ghana is proud to take its place, a key partner in this effort, investing actively in cross-border energy connections and believing firmly in a future where no African child is left in darkness.
The energy sector has been burdened by years of power instability, stalled infrastructure, and political interference. Some experts believe the real issue is the lack of trust.
We don't seem to see a past government's policies through. We come with our own, and it changes the whole circumference of things. I think we've got to get to a stage where we can trust what other governments have done to move the energy sector forward, especially upstream.
Solar energy installation was also discussed.
I have said, if for nothing at all, we should put solar on all government buildings. And that conventional power, we move into industry. And we need to be able to monitor to make sure that those solar panels are working. We've put solar on the Ministry of Energy for years. Is it working? It's not working. So the monitoring of these things is very important.
Access to clean, affordable energy remains a shared goal across the continent. From improving how to cook at home to strengthening cross-border power links, the vision is clear, but turning that vision into lasting change will require action, trust, and a commitment that goes beyond the headlines. Safa OpokuEni, TV3 News, Accra.
Now, the Ministry of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovations has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Dubai Customs UAE Innovations and Technology Hub to improve the country's technology sector. Now, this hub aligns with President John Dramani Mahama's bold vision of making Ghana Africa's next AI powerhouse.
The Memorandum of Understanding is between the Government of Ghana and the United Arab Emirates, led by the Ports, Customs and Free Zone Corporation, and G42, one of the world's leading AI firms behind Dubai's AI revolution. The agreement marks one of the largest investments Ghana will see over the next 24 months, leading to the construction of a cutting-edge AI and innovation hub in the country. PCFC, which operates over 11 innovation hubs in Dubai and serves more than 11,000 global conglomerates, will bring that network to Ghana. These companies include tech giants like Microsoft, IBM, Oracle, Meta, and Alphabet, all looking to expand their presence in Africa. Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of Ports, Customs and Free Zone Corporation, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulaim, says the initiative aims to provide key support to port systems in Ghana.
Big operation in Ghana. We have today visited some of the places where we sell product that we distribute around the world. And we have 20,000 points of sale in Ghana. We have 200,000 in Nigeria. In the whole Africa, we have 400,000 points of sales of product that we deliver to people even to the last mile. So this is crucial. And then when you talk about the industrial park, which is also important, we are going to bring industries here. There is a window of opportunity today.
Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovations, Samuel Nati George, highlighted the impacts of this signing towards Ghana's goal of achieving technological advancement.
The partnership with PCFC is to be able to create this hub. PCFC currently holds over 11 such hubs in Dubai. They're looking to invest over $1 billion in Ghana to build an innovation hub. And for us, as President Mahama's vision of transforming Ghana into the next AI hub for Africa, we need to begin to think about the various phases of the plan. So we've started the 1 million coders program. As you train 1 million coders, you need to have jobs for these coders. Now, how do you attract the jobs? And that's where PCFC comes in.
The Supreme Court this week dealt a blow to suspected Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo after unanimously dismissing her bid to halt the impeachment proceedings against her. As legal and public debate intensifies, critics and supporters alike have been weighing in on the fairness of the processes so far. Here's a wrap of how events have panned out this week in count and the subsequent reactions.
On Wednesday, May 28, the Supreme Court unanimously dismissed an application for an interlocutory injunction filed by the suspended Chief Justice, Justice Gertrude Saki Torkornoo. She had sought to halt both her suspension and the ongoing impeachment proceedings against her, pending the final determination of a suit challenging the constitutionality of those proceedings. However, after hearing submissions from both parties, the 5-member panel of justices presided over by Acting Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni dismissed the application, stating that it was without merit. Former Attorney General Godfrey Dame was displeased with the outcome.
I'm quite surprised that the Supreme Court for more or less acceding to the expectation of such violations against the highest judicial officer. The issues are far reaching. They actually impinge on matters which affect the independence of Ghana's judiciary, the security of tenure of judges and all. But if the Supreme Court, for whatever reasons, shall not take that view, well, so be it. I think that in future, the whole nation will get to know.
The suspended Chief Justice, he added, will continue to assert her rights.
She knows what is due process. She knows what is constitutional rights. And I think that's what she's asking for. And how can it be correct that a judge who sat on 2 matters, of which she also sat, be called as witness in a petition against her, and that same judge who made the chairman of the committee that is supposed to inquire into the petitions against the Chief Justice.
Speaking on the key points, Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Professor Ransford Jampo, said that if the suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu has done wrong, the law must take its course.
We should be careful in jumping to conclusions based on people who are whimsical and capricious in doing some of these, analysis. Look, Albert Tokonu, in my view, is showing a lot of double standardness. She's also trying to overly politicize a matter that, in my view, should be looked at dispassionately. Let her go on to question the processes, but let it also be known to her that it does appear to me and suggest to me that the judicial and legal processes now appear to be very resilient.
Meanwhile, political scientist at the University of Ghana, Dr. Joshua Zato, expressed disappointment over the silence of the Association of Judges and Magistrates on the matter.
All this is happening, but there's a union of magistrates and lawyers that are supposed to be there. This much today, the union is quiet like a grave. The union have just given up on this woman. I don't know whether they act as an actual union, but I've never seen any union anywhere in the world be so cold-hearted, so disinterested when one of their members is going through this. I've never seen it. If they are coming for the head of the judiciary and the union or the association that's supposed to defend and protect the judiciary is quiet, are they complicit?
Deputy Director General of the Narcotics Control Commission, Alexander Chumberima, also weighed in, stating that the Chief Justice's lawyers appear to be driven more by emotion than by legal reasoning.
And in this case, I am yet to see the very right that has been, tampered with. Unfortunately, they keep running around the thing, Sometimes it's like they are becoming more emotional than being legal. But as lawyers, we don't have any business to do with, anything emotions. We deal with the law. Mm-hmm. And as Madam rightly said some time ago, the law is always the law. No matter what noise or argument that you make out there, the law will never change, and it will still remain the law. They will wish that the thing become very, open and not in camera.
Yeah.
Again, very interesting. When you hear lawyers speaking in this manner, I asked myself, that's why I made mention earlier on that I don't know whether there's a new constitution that has been written that some of us are not aware.
For now, the 5-member committee chaired by Supreme Court Judge Justice Gabriel Scott Boamang, which is looking into the prima facie case against the suspended Chief Justice, will continue to sit until the determination of the main case seeking to halt the process.
Well, it's been an interesting bulletin today.
It has
what
been,
do you think?
actually. And Hooked on Red will be repeating again today at 3 p.m., so do make some time to watch. My name is Godwin Asideba. Glad you've made us part of your time this afternoon.
And I am Judith Brown. Thanks for joining us once again. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
See you soon.